Attention, if you need to grab some coffee, go ahead and grab some coffee. We're going to get going in just a second here because Ellen's got another commitment, so she's going to talk to us real quick about the city council person who came and talked with us. So go ahead, Ellen.
Oh gosh, I'm not used to this sort of thing. Okay. Okay. Ready? So I just wanted to share with you just a little brief information. Last Sunday, City Council member Christine Bowles joined us, and we had a little discussion, a beginning of a conversation about concern for unhoused homeless people in Pacifica, whether that's people that are actually living unsheltered or in RVs or what do they call it? Couch surfing. So it's just kind of the beginning of a conversation at St. Edmunds and thinking about possibilities for churches supporting the effort of whatever ideas come forth that are doable. And that's part of what I mentioned earlier in the service about there's a parcel of land in Pacifica that we have our eyes on that possibly could be. Not yet. I have to get permission. That would be ideal for low income because we have virtually no low income housing in Pacifica. Anyway, I'm very encouraged. We have a very supportive city council member that, will help to possibly shepherd things through. And she's an architect, which makes it even better. So anything else?
I think that's it, but thanks, Ellen. I know that. So December 8th again.
Oh, and then once again, December 8th is the next city council member that the topic of this piece of property may come up at that time, and I'll let you know in advance what talking points there would be, whether you can go on Zoom or show up in person or write a letter. So.
If you're on Zoom, you can still be.
Yeah, right. Or email the city, yeah. So I'll provide that information as soon as I get it. Okay, thank you.
It needs a clip. Before any great undertaking, let us invoke the blessing of God. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, you are the source of wisdom and grace. We thank you, O Lord, for giving us a gift of your Son, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. In our hearts, we thank you for every meaningful works that you have given us for ourselves, for our neighbors, and the world. For there's a reason that we are here, and we thank you for providing this space for us. I thank you, O Lord, for each and every member of this community and those who support us in a wider space, for the love and the joy that we continue to share each and every moment. The prayers that we have, not only for ourselves, but for the world and those whom we advocate, for those who do not have voices. And through us, your kingdom might be realized in this world. So come and open our hearts and minds as we envision and dream together what it is that you have in store for us over the coming years. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Good morning. Is it afternoon already? Almost. Well, I'm asked to report to you what we have done so far for the year 2025 and where we are now from the time we envisioned together as the church when you called me as your vicar in 2023. 2 years ago, when you elected me as your vicar, the Bishop Committee came with a 3-year plan of action based on our vision as St. Edmunds community. The plan of action priorities are listed in the following manner. First, pastoral care, under which we revived the Sunday school program, provide senior care for transportation, prayer visitations, and wellness check, revitalize our liturgy and music, and acolytes and lector training. Second is a community outreach, creating a welcoming committee for visitors and organization, reviving our newsletter and publications as a vehicle for evangelism, coffee hours, sign up for after-service fellowship, reaching out to other church organizations for collaboration and dialogue, renew our commitment to the deanery and diocesan presence. Third, building and grounds, memorial garden beautification, environmental care and restoration, church building, painting and maintenance, sign up for weekly watering the plants. These 3 priority goals are set to be reached within 3 years. And there will be a quarterly review to ensure that we are meeting the goal, so that by the end of 3 years, there will be renewal and recapitulation of these programs. We are now nearing our 3rd year commitment. I will be meeting with the Bishop Committee and a different chair of the different committees for a retreat in 2026 to re-envision our works and ministries for the next 3 years. I ask that each of you will drop a suggestion on visions and plans that you have in mind and heart for the betterment of our being together as one body of Christ at St. Edmunds. If I may go back to the first action priority, so far we are struggling with reviving the Sunday school program. And that is because we need teachers and volunteers and encourage parents with kids or neighbors when they see that there is a Sunday school program. Remember the time when this place was filled with children and a lot of volunteers. We continue to do senior care transportation program, and I thank all those who have the time to pick up members to bring them here at church or to their doctor's appointment or somewhere else. I will be meeting with the lay Eucharistic ministers for visitations and wellness check. I envision that we will create a medical team who are available to be called when our members are in need of a visit for wellness check. I will be envisioning with our senior warden as well for mental health and others who are in this team support program. I'll be meeting with our liturgy and music to incorporate other musics other than the traditional music, where it is welcoming to all ages as well, especially the youth and young adults. We will continue with the acolyte and lectors training. In our community outreach, we still have to revitalize our committee, a welcoming committee. These are the people who are available at the door to welcome mothers who are first time in this place, to give them the spirit of welcome, and also to support those who are new in a membership for catechism and others. I'd like to thank all those who bring food during our fellowship meal. We still have to do more things about reaching out to other church organizations for collaboration and dialogue. We have done that in the first, I think, last year or early this year, when one of the church community pastors reached out to all clergy in the area as well as leaders. We would like to do more. Other than that is the support system of the Peninsula Deanery. Maybe Daly City, South City, and Half Moon Bay may collaborate with St. Edmunds. See if we can do a shuffle preaching exchange, if that can be possible. We have renewed our commitment to the deanery and diocesan presence, and I thank all those who attend the deanery meetings, either Zoom or in presence or in diocesan convention. We need more leaders, especially new ones who would like to learn about the polity of the church, to try to attend these meetings, either the deanery or in the diocesan. The building and grounds, we need to help our junior warden. Junior warden is full-time now and works in the weekend. And I thank those supervising and shadowing him. And I'd like to encourage those who might want to be part of this building and grounds. And I thank our supporters for the several fundraising that we have done to beautify our church. First is the creek program that we've started cleaning, but still there's so much requirements from the city and the state and the county we have to go through. But we still have that fund for that creek, and we hope that it will be implemented in any way. Also, our Labyrinth program, I thank you all for supporting this. The Bishop Committee had met that we need to prioritize things. We don't want to mess up with the new labyrinth if we have not done the roof and the gutters. So we need to do that. Everything will, I hope, will be done by next year, so that by the time when the bishop comes in our feast of St. Edmunds, he will again rededicate the creek, the labyrinth, and the building that we have during his visit. Again, I know that you have suggestions in mind, but you keep them. I'd like you to share them. Write it down and a piece of paper. There's a suggestion box there. We should start creating a suggestion box, or you can tell us directly, the senior warden or the junior warden, what it is that you have. But we will all talk about this at the retreat that we'll have with all the leaders of this church. To date, for the 2025, we have had 2 wedding celebrations, 2 burials, and 1 baptism. I hope that during the visit of the bishop, we will have more baptisms and confirmation, as the bishop is the only one who can confirm. We will prepare you for this. Again, I would like to thank each of you for the special ministries that you have brought into this community, and continue to advocate for such ministry, for this space, and for the wider world. As Ellen have mentioned earlier, we have connected to the wider community with our leaders of Pacifica, and there are more that we should and we ask to be part of. And I'd like to thank those who lead us into the different advocacies that you have, either for peace, for homelessness, for housing, and others. In January, we are in partnership with the Interfaith Meal Program. We will be going to San Francisco at the basement of St. Mary's Cathedral, where about 75 homeless will be fed by us. And I'd like you to support this. And this is an opportunity that I envision to invite our youth and young adult to be part of, from 12 years and above. We prepare the food here, we go there and serve, and we need young ones to be there to serve. And I hope that by doing this, it opens up the opportunity for them to see what it is in the world, other than the 4 walls of the rooms. So I ask for your help for this. St. Edmunds is strong. I hate to get the picture that I'm just waiting for you without any new ones coming in. We need new leaders, new young ones. So I need your help to help us to be more a vibrant community as St. Edmunds. And I thank you for having me as your vicar. Because of you, everything is easy. Because you do your own thing. That is, effectively, for the glory of God. So I thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leonard. Appreciate you, and I guess I'm supposed to recognize people who've done things for the church this year, so I should start by thanking our vicar for all his efforts. I also have to remember to thank Rudy for all his efforts at the technical stuff. You can see, I always say you can pay people to do a job, but you can't pay them to care. And it's clear that Rudy really cares about doing a good job, and I appreciate that. And of course, I was just about ready to also recognize Georgia, and then she just disappeared there for a second. So maybe I'll have to wait and recognize her again when I can see she can hear it. She might be busy. She's probably busy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is that her there? I can't see her around the. Oh, she heard it. Okay, good. Because it's kind of embarrassing when I get to a long list of people that I'm thanking, and then somebody reminds me, "Oh, you should thank your wife." So I tried to put that up front before I forgot. Thanks to Linda for all her efforts at keeping us appraised of the Peace People and various things going on. Thanks to David for all of his finance work that he's done, along with Sandy. Thanks to Sandy for holding the checkbook. Thanks to Alexi for his continued support. thanks to Ruby for all her efforts, and also the efforts with the deanery, and we'll talk about getting Ruby some help with the deanery as well. Thanks to Catherine for her continued presence and support, emotional support, as well as other kinds of support. That's very appreciated. Thanks to Tom for his efforts to help Josh, our current junior warden. Thanks. There's so many people to thank. Thanks to Margot for her efforts with Altar Guild. We'll talk some more about that. Thanks to Brian and Dongbin for their efforts of the finances. Thanks to Heidi for her efforts. That's one of the things that I always notice, that Heidi's one of those people you don't see how much she's doing because she's kind of working a little bit behind the scenes, but you can see the results of her work, not just food, with other things too, for sure. Betsy, thanks to Betsy. Yeah, I don't see Betsy here today, but yeah, she's on vacation. Thanks. I appreciate that. So yes, and thanks to Deborah for her efforts to keep us updated with some of the things going on in the city, and protests and things like that. That's always very helpful because we need everybody to be involved outside the church and then bringing that inside the church. So, yeah.
I just want to add in thanking those who pick up members to bring them here at Church Center. Carol, Deborah, Dennis for bringing Glenn and Mary Lou here, whenever, and others. Douglas for picking them up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leonard. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Linda. All right, and I'll just preface by saying also that I'll use the old Mark Twain thing of I would be shorter at this if I had more time to prepare, but I'll do what I can to be as succinct as possible. There you go. I think we all can agree it's been a challenging year, not just for St. Edmunds, but for our country. I think it counts as another annus horribilis, a horrible year. That phrase was popularized by Queen Elizabeth in 1992. That same year, there also came out a Declaration of Interdependence by the David Suzuki Foundation, an effort to focus on climate change and working towards a more effective way for us all to interact with the earth. I've also spent a lot of time watching the new Ken Burns saga about the American Revolution, seeing how great problems come alongside great possibilities. This year is another year, as Thomas Paine said, that tries men's and women's souls. As we embark on another year at St. Edmunds, I wonder what will come to us and come of us in the coming year. I do know that I can count on those of us who are here today and watching online to continue to work together in the vineyard of St. Edmunds. My question to you is, how will you do that in the coming year? As you hear the reports of things that are going on at St. Edmunds, I ask you consider how you can help us all get through another year. There are plenty of opportunities to serve, as Reverend Leonard was talking about. I like to think of us as small but mighty. That means each of us has to help. We can't all be like Georgia or Heidi, quietly working behind the scenes, but we can each help in our own way. We are all interdependent, both individually and with our community partners like Tai Chi Group, the Mothers Club, Girl Scouts, and others. Together, we cannot fail. So think about how you can help out, not just so St. Edmunds can go on, but so that we can each thrive in the coming year. Get curious. Talk with Ruby or Linda about the deanery. Talk with Georgia about recycling. Talk with Betsy about the Resource Center. Talk with Reverend Leonard about the Gifts of Love or the Interfaith Dinner. Talk with Josh or Tom about the building and grounds needs. Talk with any of us today or in the future weeks, and you will quickly find out what the needs are and how you can help. It's worth it, not just so St. Edmunds can continue, but so that each of us can enjoy that sense of interdependent community that has always been found at St. Edmunds. I pray that we can truly go forth and serve the Lord in the coming year. Okay. Oh, and I guess I should also say that Josh Murphy can't be here today, but he's going to continue to be working on getting quotes for the various things that we need to have done here, especially the gutter and the stove needs to get done. So I would encourage anyone who has any time to talk to Josh and help him out with figuring how to get to the next steps. I know Dongbin I hope Dongbin's still here. I think Dongbin might have some info on quotes. I'm not sure. We'll find out. All right. And Linda, did you want to say something about the deanery?
Congregational consent for basic person being representatives for the common.
Right. Yeah. You have to.
Can't hear or just reject.
Okay. Yeah, but
Is there an agenda?
yes, there is an agenda. It's found on the back there. So, I guess I will ask for the consent for the congregation, for the BC members for the coming year, and the deanery representatives. And the deanery representatives for the coming year, I believe, are you, is Ruby yet? Or
I'm an alternate.
you're an alternate? Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So David and I are the elected reps. If anyone else would rather do it or wants to do it, please let us know. Ruby is the alternative rep, and usually we need to have 2 alternative rep. That means if there's a deanery meeting or convention and David and I cannot attend for whatever reason, it means you fill in. So we really would like 1 more alternative. Ruby, I assume you still want to be an alternative rep? Well,
But I really think that all of you should search your hearts and calendars. And if you have things to offer, and you all do, more than I do, volunteer to do this.
I'm not sure even what it entails. Obviously, it means going to meetings, but
so we are representatives of St. Edmunds Church. We have a connection with the diocese via the deanery meetings. There are 6 deaneries in our diocese. We are in the Peninsula Deanery. Oh, and by the way, the woman who was running the Peninsula Deanery has just been elected to be on the standing committee. Sandra, yeah. So that's what it means. We're your reps to the diocese. Yes, there are deanery meetings that happened, I don't know how many times a year, maybe 4 times a year. And then there's the convention. That's an all-weekend thing. And that happens often in October. We just had that convention. Ruby went to that. Does that make it clearer? Well, Margot, does that? Yeah, okay. It's okay? Okay. Tom?
So clarifying, the deanery reps and alternates, are those also diocesan reps and alternates?
Yeah, reps to the diocese. Yes, yes.
You all are doing double duty because there are not enough of us.
Okay. So I think we need approval. I think we need an annual approval that we can continue to do that. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Sandy?
All in favor? All opposed? I believe
Okay.
the motion carries.
I have to tell you again, I like doing it. So thank you for allowing us to do it again.
Brother Senior Warden, I just want to make sure that we have a secretary putting all this together, or are you relying from the video that you will be listening later on? Somebody's taking notes of what we approve and what we talk about today, because that will be submitted to the records.
It will be on the video, and if somebody would like to volunteer to transcribe or take some notes about that, that would be great. Other than that, you know, we have to rely on the video. But that's one of the reasons we want to make sure we got this. Yes, Rudy. Yeah. So for instance, the fact that Sandy just made a motion. I don't know if we had a second on that. Oh, Doug seconded. So, and I asked for, and the motion carried. You know, I asked for. The motion was remind me, Sandy, to accept the BC members and the deanery representatives that were offered. Yes. Thank you, Sandy. So now we got it on the recording. So if there's any question, we can go back and look at that. I think I ended up having to go back and look at the annual meeting from last year to come up with some minutes from that, because I couldn't find any minutes. I don't know if any were made. So I may end up doing the same next year unless we get some volunteer who can help us with that. I'll be looking for such a volunteer. Okay. All right. I think that's it on that for now. David, you want to come up and talk about the finance report?
The Finance Committee is working well. We lost Brian earlier this year because of a new child in the family, and Dongbin graciously came on board to do the database for us. Sandy, as always, has written all the checks and continues to do that. I don't know what I do. I collect the plate at church and deposit it and keep track of the amount of money that we're bringing in. St. Edmunds doesn't have a treasurer, small church, and so Sandy has often made the point that she is not the treasurer of our church. So the three of us managed to keep the finances going. We give, thank you. We give information to the BC to let them know how things are going. As a reminder, the heart of this church is the generosity of people in it who pledge. And so I have passed out the letter for this year, a pledge form for you, and a form for the things that you can do to help Josh find some people to help him with things that you do for the church. You can put those, there are envelopes in the back of the church. You could put those in an envelope. You could mail them to the P.O. box. You can put them in the plate. You can give them to me or Sandy or Dong Bin and so forth. According to Dong Bin, we have 25 people who pledged this year, or families, which is great. And again, the pledges bring in over 50% of our income. So thank you, everyone, for keeping us afloat and giving what you can to joyously celebrate Episcopalian values in Pacifica. One other thought, if you have any questions, I have two other forms. Dong Bin gave me a new form for our weekly amount of money I bring in. I have copies of that if you're interested. And I also have copies of the report for the first 9 months of the year from Dong Bin. Well, they're there for your use. Thanks. I have them. They're in the folder.
I would suggest that we also reaffirm the members of the Bishops' Committee for the coming year also.
I second that if that was a motion.
Okay, there was a motion from Tom
I
to...
second the motion.
Yeah, there was a motion from Tom to reaffirm the BC members for the coming year, seconded by Catherine. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
I just want to add to the financial report that there's, I think, about still 30% are loose plates, meaning these are cash, not as a pledge. And I'd like to encourage everybody to pledge it rather than a cash. So if you use your envelope there, put your name and say this is a pledge. If you haven't signed up with the form, so that we can lessen the cash loose and convert it into a pledge. If you want to talk, there's a microphone here. Let me know. Yeah.
Okay, David, were you gonna pass around or ask somebody to pass around some of that finance information? Were you going to pass around some of that finance information or ask somebody to pass it around? Come and see you? Okay. There you go. All right. Any other questions about the finance?
One other thing I should have mentioned, I've tried to separate the donations for the labyrinth, and that is included in one of the months. I think it was September, and I don't include that as the plate. That amount of money we raised for the labyrinth was over $7,000.
Okay, Rudy, did you get that? Okay, I'm just making sure. All right. Any other questions or comments about the finances? Okay. All right, next up, I think we've got Linda and Ruby to talk about the diocese convention, and I think there was on the back there was the resolutions for the.
It looks like this is the results for the...
You got to find the microphone there.
can I bring this down? I feel like I'm. So in the back, it says the results of the 176 DioCal convention. Does everyone have this? Ruby, could you bring a few up with you? I see Tom. Raise your hand if you don't have one. So I see at least 3 hands. Can you bring some up? There's Deborah and Margot and Tom. Anyone else? And it looks like Sandy didn't get a copy.
Here.
I'll give one to Leonard and one to Leonard. Okay, Ruby, you want to come up here then?
I was trying to hide.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm falling apart.
That's just a.
Thank you. Thank you, Mama Linda.
All right, so Ruby was the one who actually went to the convention. David and I were out of town, and bless you for doing that, because it's an all-day thing, and it was when it was the No Kings 2 big protest, and so, but she stood up and represented all of you that weekend.
And Leonard.
And Leonard. And Leonard. Sorry. And Leonard. Okay, so I just wanted to briefly go over the resolutions. I think these resolutions are very timely for issues that we're very interested in. So I just did a sort of copy and paste from the church, the diocese website. So there are 3 resolutions that got passed, and the first one is an assessment formula task force. So they've got a task force to re-examine how they are assessing us. So we pay an assessment fee every year, and it comes to about, and it kind of varies. For us, it's an average of $266 a month we pay to the diocese for whatever they provide for us. I can't get, so.
Well, this is a good question.
Symbolic bishop and
Well, I think he's a little more than symbolic. You have it.
All right. Sandy, did you want to answer that? You're standing.
It's not, it's like our pledge to the diocese. So it goes to the support of the diocese and the work that they do. It's not for any one thing, it's not that it comes back to us. It is our pledge to the diocese to keep it going.
and it's usually
Right.
proportional.
It is proportional, and there has been some chatter about how it might not have always seemed to be fair, especially from the larger and more affluent parishes who feel that they are, being asked to carry the burden of the smaller parishes. And so, I know, but this is, they are, because they can. And that's kind of fair. But this is supposedly an effort to make the whole process. Oh, Tom, don't smirk at me. Okay. Okay. Here, it's an effort to make the whole process more transparent, so that people at least have a clue as to how the assessments are made. So anyway, it's an exercise in transparency. Where it will go, who knows? But this is, we all said we wanted to do this. It's just a task force, folks.
And it'll be presented at the next convention next year.
Okay, and it has no budgetary implications for the coming year for the diocese at all, as I see it.
All right. Does that make sense? Okay. Resolution 2 is about social justice, and this was passed, and I thought this is really very important this year more than ever. It's to strengthen our collective voice and the voice of the diocese, and to publicly affirm and support those of us who are engaged, either personally or as a church, in working on social justice. And I like that idea that they're stressing it's public affirmation of these values. So we can be very forward in saying what we think and what we plan to speak out against or protest with, and we can do that here. This resolution also acknowledges a kind of larger range of social justice, including affordable housing, racial inequities, immigration, LGBT rights, environment protection. So it empowers us to support clergy and lay-led groups who are working on social justice at all levels. Any question on that?
You should point out what you suggested to me, that I suggested to you, like, where to get those red whistles.
Oh,
Can you say that again, please?
yes.
I think that you should point out, which you had pointed out to me, the use of the red whistle and where to get it.
Oh, yeah. So some of us in this congregation have been going to the indivisible meetings, which are the third Tuesday of the month. And you can go online. This last Tuesday, I went online, and you can even speak what remarks you might want to make if you're attending online. And they were talking about, because everything that's going on in the States, happening with ICE going in, and how people need to be alerted to when ICE is in the neighborhood. And one of those things is suggesting we all have these whistles. You've probably been hearing about that. All the citizens in a town that are suddenly attacked, really, it's kind of an attack by ICE. If they see ICE in your neighborhood or near a store or a restaurant, they all have a red whistle, and they start blowing that whistle. So at that indivisible meeting on Tuesday, they said that you could get one of those red whistles at the toy store that is really close to Oceana Market. So that's what I mentioned to Deborah. Anything else on social justice? Okay. Someday. Okay, and then if you turn the page over, the third one is on affordable housing. This one was passed, also supporting lawful civic programs and legislation, anything that enables the development of safe, affordable, inclusive housing for all of God's children, and encouraging us to take a visible public leadership role to support all of this, and bring together groups of people to make them understand why we need this kind of housing and how we can make it happen. And this goes directly with what Ellen was talking about, going to either in person or online to that Monday, September 8th City Council meeting to talk about getting some public land used for low-income housing. Any question on that? Okay. Yeah.
Several years ago, Pacifica was given the information that they were supposed to create new housing. And the suggestion was that they use the road where they're building up in back of, it's the road that ends up going past St. Edmunds, and where there is housing being built there. However, it doesn't look like the kind of housing that would be suitable for social justice. It looks like it's going to be expensive housing for people who have the money for it. I may be totally wrong about that. It would be nice to think so.
That often is what I've noticed when they say, oh, we're going to build some housing here and there'll be affordable care. Yeah, and that's a very small percentage that ends up being affordable housing.
No.
Yes. It's like,
You define affordability by
Yeah.
lower income, like, no.
I mean, they're not even handing out Section 8.
Yeah, but look at the federal.
yeah. So all the more reason, maybe St. Edmunds can actually make a statement at that meeting. If we go, more of us go, we could consider what we might want to say as a church publicly there. Okay, then the last part of Strategic Vision Committee.
Can I
Yeah.
interject? There was also a resolution passed that in reference to non-stipendiary clergy and employees to be eligible for pension and medical things. And that was brought to light here a few years back, how important that is. So that was another thing. I'm done.
Okay. All right. So the other thing is this Strategic Vision Committee that's underneath the last resolution we talked about, SVC for short. So during Lent, this Strategic Vision Committee, which includes Bishop Austin, was set up to discern how we can move forward as a diocese. And they started doing these listening sessions, and I am sorry to report that David and Ruby and I somehow missed this. But what they wanted to do is have people in the whole diocese call in and talk about how they feel, working with the diocese, things that they were unhappy about or things they liked. And I unfortunately, that has ended, but I saw a chart that talked about things they didn't like. And believe me, there were a lot of things they didn't like, especially things like communication. I mean, some of the very same things that we have been unhappy about were clearly spoken. So even though our voice was not heard, our complaints were heard by others. And so then this committee was set up, and it focuses on 7 areas, and I've listed that here. You can read them yourselves, the 7 areas right down here. So these 7 areas begin at the level of an individual, then opening to congregations, and then the diocese, and then the world. That is how they are listed begins at the individual and then ends up going outside our doors. So each of these focus areas in this plan introduces 3 or 4 major goals, which I have not listed here, and a detailed outline of initiative toward making those goals happen, including a phased timeline, priority levels, and metrics for evaluating implementation and effectiveness. So, but I put on the bottom, for more information, check diocalconvention.org, or you could just put diocal SVC for that. So this is a 3-year kind of thing that they're working on. It's a slow process, and the deaneries are talking about that separately too. So we will report back as things go forward during these 3 years.
And hopefully we'll get the information about when things are going to be happening so that we can actually participate in the conversations. I have to say that there were 3 areas that really that I'm especially interested in. One is what they're going to do about strengthening mission congregations, that's us folks, and how we can support one another. and the
Item 3.
that's item 3, and multicultural and multilingual ministries. I think that's maybe one of the areas that well, I personally am very interested in. And the other one is repair and healing of all of the hurt feelings and misconceptions that have gone on for way and unaddressed for way too many years. Okay, that's it for me.
That's it.
Yeah, and I think, Ruby, this may be more of a question for Leonard, but I think some of these resolutions we talk about, doesn't that get
Mike,
doesn't that the resolutions get reflected in the when you apply for grants? There you are. I'm assuming because Leonard, you managed to get a grant from the diocese, right, to help with the labyrinth? No.
Well, the subsidy for next year, which is the amount of $10,000, was through the bishop and the canon to the ordinary, and I think there's a committee that they have decided that the mission station should be getting subsidy. But this depends on the program that we have in the mission station. So the more programs we have, the more reasons that they give you the amounts such to support. But it is not always that way. It may change.
Yeah.
So, but we will receive in 2026 in January or February the 10,000 subsidy to mission stations.
Right.
$10,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So it's for purposes that we need other than the general budget.
we can target it then.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned the last time that I think we can use part of it to revitalize our Sunday school program.
Okay. When I first got here about 1 million years ago, the diocese subsidized mission congregations, and we had a sizable amount of our budget from that subsidy. And was that it? Even 15, 20 years ago? I think it may have been more. Yeah, maybe not. But anyway, it was money. Sandy has the answer to that. But anyway, at some point, that just kind of went away. Bah! And we were left on our own. So this is kind of a semi-reinstatement of that, but only on a yearly basis, as I understood it.
And it depends on the program that you have.
Right. So anyway, Sandy.
Because I think what all this gets at is there's a variety of ways that the diocese has to indicate priorities, right? And they're always going to be interested in funding their priorities. So that's why I think when you have things like the resolutions, it makes sense to pay attention, even just from a, from the perspective of St. Edmunds, just because when we go to the diocese for any kind of financial help or any other kind of help, they're going to be paying attention to what resolutions have passed. Now, they may not always follow it, but they will pay attention to it. So
What the BC and others have done at St. Edmunds.
right. Yeah, that's true. So I'm just putting in a plug for why I think it makes sense to pay attention to the resolutions. Yeah.
As far as the other grants, Peninsula has a grant that's available for us. I think for those of you who have been attending the Peninsula Dinery, had mentioned to me that the grant that we have submitted somehow is in question as to what particular specific things that it should be used. The reason what we used there was for the labyrinth project. We have asked for $1,000, but they need a specific of that, in what way it will help us. And I did mention about evangelism, asking in providing for people that are anywhere to come and see what we have here. That's the other than the spiritual part of it. Now, there are other grants through the United Thank Offering, UTO. I don't know if you have had some UTO grant before at St. Edmunds that is for a bigger chunk of a grant that you're asking. We can, but that's being approved by the diocese, because there are many resolutions or grant asking that will be, they will ask through the UTO. The UTO will give that to the diocese, and the diocese will decide who will get that. That's how it is. Yeah.
Thank you, Leonard. Linda, you've already talked about the deanery. Do you want to say anything about the Pacifica Peace People and Faith in Action?
Faith in Action. I don't belong to Faith in Action. That's just what Ellen is reporting. I don't belong to the Faith in Action group. But that's what they're focused on, is housing right now. And Pacifica Peace People is less active now. We do, with something shows up, especially the whole Gaza thing, we did raise funds for that. But otherwise, we are not having monthly meetings at this point.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Next up is Doug and Ruby for a liturgy report. And
before we
Kirsty.
go to the liturgy music, may I ask Sandy and the finance to submit to the senior wardens as part of the report what is the current assessment process, the assessment formula that we are using until the 2027, and how much is it that we're paying as a congregation to the diocese. I think it's important that we inform the members that this is the assessment formula, for example, 5% and 20%, and this is what we give to the diocese every year, so that we understand. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're saying 2027, though?
Yeah, until 2027.
Both. To study it this, in 26, to be implemented in 27.
So, in the past, the diocese has determined what we pay to them as our assessment. And that is determined on the number of pledging units that we have, our budget for the new year. So there's always a vicar's report that has to go in right at the beginning of the year, and on that, they base how much they charge us. It is a little obscure what that algorithm is, which is why I understand that there's a move to make it more transparent. But it is the same, I understand, for all parishes and congregations here in the diocese. So it does have to do with our income, has to do with our budget, has to do with pledging units, that sort of thing. Is that good enough?
And also, tell us about there is forgiveness if you can't, what's the term of that now? If you can't come up with the amount to be able to pay your assessment, there is a process, I think, that you apply. I forgot the term of that, like apply for forgiveness.
That's very interesting, because I've never heard of that.
But again,
Well, we've had it deferred though, right? We've had these. No,
We have always paid it.
yeah, that is if you're really in dire needs and you cannot come up with the budget because you're negative. Yeah, that just to let everybody know, it's available. You have to apply it through the diocese. That it's not forgiveness; it's like hardship thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And they will assess what your income is, and they say, okay, we can forgive you for this year.
And who does that? Who submits that? Who writes
Oh,
that?
anybody, either a mission station or parish, if they cannot come up with their budget.
It would have to come from DC.
Okay, I think we should do that.
Well, if they're giving us 10,000 next year, it may not be, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
25 pledging new units for 2026, we might be okay enough.
Right. Right.
Focus on that.
No, that's a good point, but thank you, Leonard. It's good to know kind of how the process works as much as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, Catherine.
And you've probably already covered this question. Do we have a budget that pays our bills, or are we constantly in arrears?
That's a Sandy question, I think. Or Sandy answer.
Yes, we do pay our bills every month, which is very exciting. There were years that we didn't, but we
Yes.
are this year. So, yeah, we're not behind.
Yes.
And thanks to our pledging units. Really, I think we're hoping that we'll be in surplus for this year, by the end of this year. Yes, I saw the budget submission. Close to surplus.
Close. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yellow tape to illuminate the way of those who stumble or who are here.
Yeah. That's one of those things that I think has to be a priority. We've had went back when we had the, some of you might remember, we had the was it Coastside Jewish community over here, and they kept us on top of that, and so now we have to kind of keep ourselves on top of it, I guess. And we have to help our junior warden Josh to address all those things and pay attention, because Josh just can't be here all the time given his schedule. All right, I think we're up to the liturgy report and Curcio kind of put together. So, Ruby?
I will. Where's the big mic? Here it is. This is.
You have to be there.
Okay, so I will pinch him when he's talked too long.
No, go ahead. Say what you want to say.
Yes, no, maybe.
Here, hold it in your hand.
What
That's
is
for the
this?
thing that Rudy's doing.
Oh, this is Rudy.
No, that is already there.
This is Rudy's thing.
All right, go.
Am I fine?
Yeah, you're more than fine. You're great.
Okay. The liturgy committee. I mean, there's no committee. The vicar has the final say in liturgy. So I just sort of push everything off on him if I don't know what to do, or even if I do. I guess there's no formal committee. I choose the music for the services, and I have occasionally ask you for your suggestions, some of which I could implement, others I said not today. And I really am very interested in finding new ways and new forms of liturgy within our within the Episcopal rite. I think that we are getting to be a diverse enough community that we can begin to incorporate some different music from different cultures and different prayers and different ways of worshiping, and I don't know them all. And so if you have things that would be meaningful to you, pass them on to, first of all, Leonard, or you can tell me. I will pass it on to him. What else? Liturgically, Douglas has.
Let me talk about this part.
I'm going to let him talk about it.
Here, this one.
I'll hold them both, okay. Now, the liturgy that you read in the bulletin every Sunday, that's not me. This is already done by the Episcopal Church throughout America. You're supposed to be able to walk into any Episcopal church on any given Sunday, and they're reading the same readings that we're reading.
Just the reading could be different rights.
Well, a few of them, yeah. Those who are stubborn, who don't want to leave right one, yeah, those crazy people. Yeah. But anyway, the rest of us, it's in the lectionary. And so I open up the lectionary every week when I do the bulletin. And I'm taking all of those readings from the lectionary that's being used by the Episcopal Church throughout America. Now, sometimes they give me a choice, and I leave that to the boss over here because I don't feel that I have the right to make the choice. The man in charge of the service, the man in charge of shepherding us, is the one that has to make the decision as to which one of those things I use. And Leonard is accustomed to getting a note from me on Monday asking which one of these you want me to do. He's nodding his head. And I always give him the option to tell me which one to use. And then I go ahead and put the bulletin together. And then Ruby reads the words from the lessons and chooses music that's appropriate. The lectionary makes suggestions of hymns to use, but half the time Ruby doesn't like them. Ruby is very specific. And so sometimes when you see obscure hymns put on a different page rather than being in the bulletin, it's because Ruby chose not to use the one that they suggested because she found a better one. And most of the time, hers are better. Yeah, I like them better. All right, so that's basically how it's done. And speaking of that, are you all able to follow the bulletin, and is the font large enough, and anything that I need to change that would make it easier for you? Because I do the best that I can to put the bulletin together so that it's user-friendly. And I think I've been successful. I haven't heard too many complaints. But if, what? 87? Well, tell me about the other 13, okay? I want to know. All right.
And along with that, there are things that are necessary. We need to have a pool of people who are willing to be readers to proclaim the word for us. We need, it literally may talk about this later. Is this an appropriate time to talk about the need for some additional limbs or lay Eucharistic ministers, so that Tom and Douglas and Joshua is not available right now, are not the only ones who do that, and I've heard from you. Thank you. That would be wonderful. I'm not telling, she'll tell you. You open your mouth to the Lord, and you cannot turn back.
You cannot turn back.
Exactly.
Have you heard that spiritual?
Done made my vow
to the Lord,
and I
never will turn back. I will not.
I
shall not. I shall go to see what
the end will be.
Done open my mouth to the Lord,
and I
never will turn back. Deborah, you open your mouth to the Lord.
And there are, there's that. And while I'm up here, I might as well talk about Altar Guild.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. The Altar Guild, for me, is a great...
Not really.
Well, Cursillo is, and it's wonderful, and if you have, it's another form of building community and your spirituality and your walk with the Lord. There are several people who have who are Christians who have gone through the 4-day weekend. There's Catherine, there's Sandy, there's me, Douglas, and the vicar, and Heidi, and who else? Okay, and Tom, and it's I can't tell you much else because every time is a little bit different. It's a short course in Christian living, essentially. And I just got back from one, and it was wonderful, and I recommend it. If you're interested, talk to me or Douglas. Let me see. Oh, Altar Guild. The Altar Guild is responsible for preparation of the altar and the surroundings for our Sunday worship. And we have Margot, bless you, and the Peebles and me and Douglas and Heidi, and that's it. Which means that about every third or fourth, we're responsible for doing it. And sometimes, sometimes it's more ornate and beautiful and fancy than others. Some of us just like potted plants, and so you end up with a lot of potted plants for me. But it's a great deal.
And then there's Linda, who has these ornate, beautiful.
Oh, they're beautiful. And we all follow Catherine's light, who made the most glorious things. And I personally am always thinking, what will Catherine say about me putting this flower there or that? And she will tell me. I count on that. But if you feel so called to, it's not just putting the decorations up. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes, like making sure we have the hangings in the right color, and the right candles. There's, when Advent comes, we have to do the Advent candles and the Advent wreath, and we sort of are kind of as in charge as anybody gets to be here of doing special decorations for Christmas and Easter and weddings and memorials and all of that. It's just making sure that we have all the items that are necessary for worship in place. And anybody, especially somebody tall, who might be able to help us reach some of the things that you notice in all those names. There are a lot, except for Douglas. We're all short, and so sometimes we need help with hangings up higher than we can reach. If your back is okay, you might be able to stoop and put things down lower.
It's so nice to have Josh around because he can reach to the ceiling.
And so that's that. If you feel so called, we would welcome your assistance. And it really is it's a very meaningful thing. I really enjoy the time I get to spend in the quiet and the preparation for Sundays.
And we will train you.
We will. Yes. And we're really...
I'm already setting up Deborah's training. I'm going to train Deborah myself.
Well, now, did the vicar approve? That's the thing. You have to do that. If anybody's got any questions about that, and this is my last thing, you have a list of time and talents. Not everything is listed on the back of the thing with the pledge forms. If you have particular skills that most of us don't even think about, if you have experience being a grant writer, if you have experience, oh yes, in tech to help Rudy, if you have all sorts of things, if you I like to cook, so I don't mind doing that, but I don't know where to begin in writing a grant. But there are real specific things that one needs to know in order to make it work. And so if you have those skills. That's why they pay people. Yes, but. They're not easy to do. No. I'm not beginning to say that they are not important and not worthy of being paid. But the majority of us don't have those skills, and if you do, if you don't mind sharing just a bit of the information that you have so that we can make it work. Those are some of the things that might be helpful. Okay, I'm going to sit down.
Thank you. David is. Junior Warden. Okay. So if I may add just quickly to the liturgy and music, as I mentioned earlier, I'll be meeting with the Liturgy and Music Committee for what it is that we envision for next year. I think we have had plans before that every third Sunday we have a contemporary gospel music. But I think what I want to start with is that we can start with that. And then maybe later on will be first and third Sunday of the month. We have traditional in the beginning, in between, and in the end, but incorporating other music in between. This is to also welcome those who may be catering into more contemporary kind of music, gospel songs. Yeah. So there's a diversity of music that we have here. Okay, and I think the band is willing to do that.
Those of you who were here last Sunday got a taste of that.
Yeah.
That was really cool to have that music last Sunday.
Yeah, we incorporate that in our music. That's why I love the people here. You know what you're doing. You don't want the vicar to do all those things. You do it your way, of course, with asking the bishop, the vicar's idea about it. But I thank you for stepping up in every way that we have here. Thank you.
Yes, that's we're up to that. So Rudy, you want to come up here?
Okay, so just a report on all the accomplishments done in enhancing the video and graphic representation of our church this year. For number one, I got the website totally revamped, so it's very easy to look on it and see, how do you get here, what's our address, how do you watch our services, and what events are happening. So that's, I think, a major step forward, because for a while the website was not always formatted in a way that was easiest for people to understand. So I'm glad we were able to work through that. I'm still working on trying to get a donate button working on the website. I've been slammed with schoolwork, so I've had to put that to the side because I was having some trouble with the software, the web developer trying to put on the what's it called? The button, yeah. So I said that in the most confusing way possible, but the too long didn't read is I'm having some issues trying to implement that, but I'm still planning on trying to make that work when I can. Another thing is we managed to get a third camera running, so now if people are watching online, they can see all the stuff Ruby's doing on the organ. And I mean, if you look at stuff like Grace Cathedral, they'll have all these great organ shots. I think it's great we've been able to implement that into the live stream. Looking to the future, I'm trying to work out a way where we can use one audio system for both online and in person instead of relying on two to make it a little more streamlined. But that would be my report, and I just want to say that, Can you tell us Yeah,
Can you
and-
tell us, like, what's your average online, and how many people? We can keep track of that. Yes, we do keep track of it. And how many people watch after the fact? And could you tell us how many people watch Josh's wedding and these fundraising events, just so people know that we are actually out there and people are watching us?
Yes. So I'm not sure if I had that mic on, but Mom was asking about how many people are watching online, and I get anywhere from 5 to 10 viewers live during when it's actually happening. But after the fact, I can get anywhere from 30 viewers to 60 viewers to, if it's a special event, over 200 viewers. So the John Murphy's memorial got like over 230 views on YouTube. So it's been a great way the community is able to view what's going on here, even if they haven't been here in person. So did I forget anything else?
Yeah, what was Josh's wedding was like, it almost surpassed the installation, right?
Yes, it almost surpassed the installation in views. Not quite, though. That's still the most viewed long-form content on the YouTube channel.
Rudy, can you say something about the calendar?
Oh, yes, the calendar. So we've got it up and running on the website. I am going to try and work on seeing if I can make it a little bit bigger. But I'm trying to make it so the problem with making it bigger is you have to set it up a certain way so that you can see all of it on desktop, but also on mobile, which is why I haven't been able to, I'm still working on that part of it, but there is a fix in the works for that. Anything else, Dad?
I think that's it.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your hard work.
Thanks, Rudy.
Thank you, Catherine. And thank you, Rudy. Does anybody have anything else before we have Leonard come up and give a closing prayer? Tom.
Briefly, I spoke with Joshua last night, and apparently he and Dongbin had some estimates on some work done yesterday, so in process. That's all.
Okay, so yeah, just apparently Dongbin and Josh have some quotes available for some work. They were working on that yesterday, so we'll get that information to you when we can. Okay.
I thank each one of you for bringing your brain and your heart into what it is that we have in store for the glory of God in this place. So I pray that we continue to do the things and add more to what we do, not only here but in the community. So let us pray. Oh, how good it is and pleasant it is for your family to come together, O Lord. For it is here the blessing is given, even life everlasting. And everything that we do, we continue to do, O Lord. Give us courage, give us strength, and grateful to all the gifts that you've given us, that we may share them to others. So take us home, filled with knowledge and love and joy. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. You will sing your word in. All right. Small but mighty.